Welcome to Alaska EdVenture, hosted by Dr. Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. This award-winning podcast is your gateway to the heart of Alaska's educational landscape. In each episode, we'll explore the unique perspectives of guests who are shaping education in the last frontier. Join us on Alaska EdVenture as we share the insights and inspirations found in Alaska's K-12 classrooms.
Welcome back to the Alaska EdVenture podcast. I'm Dr. Luke Meinert, Superintendent of the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. And today we are super excited to be talking about after-school programs. And I've got some phenomenal young ladies with me today to discuss what after-school programs is in our district and what it looks like. And I can't wait for the conversation. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I would.
That'd be awesome.
My name is Lindsy Weaver. I am the director of our 21st Century Community Learning Center's after-school programs for the Fairbanks North Starborough School District. For the sake of that, we just call it ASP for the Fairbanks North Starborough School District.
That's great.
And my name is Jennifer Wienke, and I am the 21st CCLC Afterschool Program Development Coordinator of our 7 sites. And my job basically is to help our coordinators do what they can do to support our kids after school.
Awesome. Well, excited about the conversation today. How about we start really basic? When you say ASP, like what is that? What does it entail? And what kind of benefits does it bring for our students here in Fairbanks?
Yeah.
So ASP, after school programs, sometimes referred to as OST, out of school time programs. We mix it
Lots
up
of acronyms in education.
It is, yeah. And so our after school programs really focus on the whole child, but not only the child, also their families, and however that looks, however their family structure looks. We work on supporting everything from their academic needs, their social needs, helping family find resources they might need. And that just works really well. Our coordinators are really well versed in doing that and to be able to help all of our students that we can support at our 7 sites.
So we have 7 sites: Anween, Denali, Hunter, and Weller, Tickasik Brown, Arctic Light, and University Park. And those 7 sites run Monday through Thursday, immediately following the school day for 2 hours. They have a pretty specific broken down structure, but every program looks different depending on the site needs and the student needs and what the staff can offer at that site. And then we also have transportation to get those students home to their families at the end of the night too.
That's super awesome. Can you give us some examples of types of things that students do?
All of our programs are slightly different based on what the coordinator's strengths are, as well as their staff. So the different staff that we have in programs, we have our certified teachers and we have other school day staff, community members, volunteers, some volunteers that are just different family members of students. And a lot of people will come in from the community and they have a strength they want to share with program. So our programs might be designed, they'll design a class around that. Maybe it's about beading, maybe it's about hydroponics. We offer a lot of different physical activities. So your basketball, fencing, different things like that. A lot of art. We do a lot of art to help with motor skills and more hands-on learning, and a lot of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math.
More acronyms.
Yes.
Our favorite.
I'm glad we're defining them though, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Not having to dig into that part. So that all sounds amazing. How is it funded?
So we are funded, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers is the grant, and it's a competitive grant that we apply for every 5 years. So right now we just kicked off the first of 5 years for Arctic Light, University Park, and Tickasik Brown. And then our other 4 sites, Anween, Denali, Hunter, and Weller, are in what we call the 5th and the final year of their grant cycle. Fingers crossed that becomes available again and we apply. It is competitive, so it's not a formula grant. We do write out our promises and say, we will do this if you give us this much money. We promise you'll see these things happen with our students and our families. And we've been successful for over 2 decades. We're coming up on up to 3 decades of support with
That's
the 21st
amazing.
Century programs. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal asset to the community and our students, but also a great place for our staff to be able to experience smaller class sizes and trying out new things, working with different partnerships, and then being able to use those out of school time space to build into their school day as well.
Yeah, I love how you talked about staff being able to share kind of their interests and expertise too. It's just a different component than what they might like bring to the classroom, and students might have no idea that they were into fencing or beading or these different things.
We interview every staff member that works for a program, whether it's 1 hour or they're working full time for us, whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
But once we ask them that question, like, what do you do outside of the school day, or what does that look like? And the answers we get range. We have some people teaching ballet, some people are teaching American Sign Language, other people Spanish, bilingual, whatever their hobbies are and their interests. It's cool to see we can work those into the out of school time space. beyond what they might teach during that school day.
Yeah, I love that. So many talents here in Fairbanks, and it's great that they're willing to share that with our students and what benefits, that provides.
Definitely.
And with a small group too, because their class might be a little bit larger, but in after school program, they'll have between 10 to 13 students. So they could try something first, but they can also do something that isn't maybe feasible with 25 kids in a class or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things you talked about was writing these competitive grants. And I imagine you have to share like what are some of the benefits that students would have, or some benefits you've seen for students that have participated in ASP. Could you share some of that with us?
Definitely. We say like we know our programs work, and really the way that we're talking about it is the quality of our programs. There's assessments, there's data, there's a lot of evaluations and reports on our website that people can check out, and it's a greater overview of the success stories that come from our teachers' point of views, our families' point of views, and our students' point of views. So we survey, we have conversations, we have external evaluators, we blend all of that information together to come up with results. So we know by the data that our students feel more supported during the school day and during after school programs. They're doing better in their English language arts assessments and their mathematic assessments. We're seeing their school day attendance raise when you have a purpose in the out of school time space, bringing their attendance up, and really our students, when they write back on their student surveys, sometimes they're like, we want, what do they always want?
Pool.
A pool. We always hear that. We want pool, or we want
ice cream every night.
Yeah, we want pizza.
Pizza was a popular one when I was at
yeah, and we're like, well, we can't do that, but we can. We say student voice and choice. So on those surveys and different things, students are identifying what they want to see in program. We're working with those staff, being able to put it back. So the results we get from students are, I feel supported. I feel like I get to do the things I want to do in after school programs. I'm getting to do my science lessons. I'm getting to practice different, I always say fencing because I just think it's so cool to see in real life. But all of those kind of come from a student voice and choice. Then we're blending it into being able to support them beyond that. So
that's really exciting. And when you collect that feedback, are you able to change on a yearly basis of what you're able to offer, or is it locked in for that 5-year period?
Yeah, we kind of say up front, these are the types of things that we're going to initiate. This is the proposed ideas. I can amend the grant. We can work together to work with the Department of Ed if we're really off there. But essentially, we're really focused on STEM. This current grant cycle is STEM and literacy-focused activities. So those are the two things. Anything really in that realm of work, we can kind of finesse into the programs and make it work for our students and families.
Everything can be STEM.
Yeah.
There we go.
Everything can be literacy. That's what actually one of our interview questions for staff is, how can you combine those two things together, because they are such big areas of our grant.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, one of the things, a lot of the answers that we get is about how cooking in general can like blend those concepts together. So being able to have students participate, one of our favorite ones, they say eat a book, which is interesting when you write reports to the Department of Ed and you're having to explain. I'm like, eat a book isn't, we don't, what we mean, but they read the recipes, they read books similar that have food in them, and then they get to prepare their own recipes, research them, and then make the food at the end of the day. So
and sometimes grow their own food.
They do.
Because we do have hydroponics
Yeah,
at
that's
some of
right.
our sites. Yeah.
That's excellent. What kind of food are they growing these days? Do you know?
We have some that have grown like all the components to make salsa.
Okay.
And they've done with Spanish. So they're combining the Spanish language
That's
together
great.
and with all of the things for the salsa that they're building. And then they're making salads. Like one time I was doing a site visit and I was like, what? We got like a full salad. They're chopping little lettuce up.
There we
And
go.
it's
Salad
very
bar
cute.
with a pizza.
That's it. Exactly.
On their survey.
Balancing it out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I did, I only know this because we work together, but I would like you to share the scope of like the amount of staffing you have that goes into providing these programs.
They're pretty big numbers.
Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah, it's amazing. Total, I think when we looked at it last, I think probably this year we've interviewed upwards of 100 people to get into the programs, but it ends up being about 120 staff spread between the 7 sites. And that also includes like high school student workers that we're able to bring back. I love when they're after school program kids and then they come and work in after school programs. It's really
That's
a full circle
awesome.
thing there. And we have, certificated staff, we have non-certified staff, community members, a wide range of people that are coming in. We also have volunteers who are unpaid, who are able to support kind of that beginning section when our staff are still on contract, and how are we navigating 80 to 100 kids. Every program has, we're enrolling 100 students and expecting about 80 of them to show up full time. So when we're looking at that, how do we have the right ratio of adults
For sure.
to keep our students safe after school?
Yeah. Well, I just love that. I mean, when you say 7 sites, you're like, I don't know, maybe there's like 10 people, that, but it's significant, the amount of quality adults that are willing to pour into our students outside of school time. Many of them have worked either a full day at the school or a full day somewhere else, and they're investing their time and energy into our students right here in Fairbanks.
Well, and what an amazing opportunity for them. A lot of our, they teach first grade
Mhm.
during the school day, and then they're working with the fourth graders. Or we see a lot of people who are like, can I teach the third grade students? I'm a second grade teacher. I'm going
Yeah.
to meet them next year. I'll be their teacher next year, or I had them last year. So being able to work within their schools, really building those school day connections,
Oh,
but having just a
absolutely.
different vision. After school program is meant to look different. It
Mhm.
does look different, but it also has many components of the standard school day as well.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, those relationships built outside of school carry into that, during the day period and make student achievement like that much greater. It's amazing how much more in touch students can get with teachers outside of that formal environment.
Definitely.
So when I think of ASP, I think of after school, but does ASP programming continue through the summer, or how does that work?
Yeah, we have, we do.
It does.
We're really proud of that. So that's where that OST will come in, that
Yeah.
out of school time support. So really proudly, we have the, you want another acronym? It's fun. It's EAST, which is awesome. It's the Elementary Academy of Science and Technology.
Okay.
Very STEM focused 15-day program for the month of June,
Okay.
where we bring educators from all over the district who don't necessarily work for after school program during the school year, but they might have a wide breadth of knowledge from different STEM-based activities in the community.
Mhm.
They come in and work with our students. It's right now funded the way that it sits for 80 students to participate in that program every summer. But every time we have any what's called carryover funds, unspent funds, we work with the Department of Education to ask and say, hey, can we use this money to invite 80 more students? So we just ran East Camp this last summer, and there was 172 kids that
Oh,
we were able
wow.
to
That's
support.
incredible.
Yeah, and that puts 17 teachers in a building. That
Mhm.
puts administrative staff. That has high school student workers, volunteers. We take over Barnett in the summer
Yeah,
and
yeah.
really just build
6
out
hours a day.
6 hours a day. Yeah, and
Mhm.
transport them there and back, and they do field trip activities. They get to go out in the community, different activities with our partners and stuff.
Mhm.
But yes, it does carry out. And I say nationally recognized when you look back at how many years that's been going on. We've had people come from like the National After School Association and do interviews on the program. We have the Alaska After School Network who has came and saw it on site.
Mhm.
We've been observed from our Department of Education. No, it's
Yeah,
wonderful. And they
yeah.
get to come see and kind of audit that program. But all positive results, all things have lots of positive experiences. And that's, I think, a really cool part of it is we work with maybe non-traditional partners in the
Mhm.
summertime. So we work really closely with the Spirit of Alaska Federal Credit Union. They donate bikes to our students. Our teachers nominate students based off their merit and how they present in program, not attendance based, not just like how well they're doing academically, just how they're existing in that space with students. And then we're able to give out, we do 22 bikes this year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
22
incredible.
And helmets.
Thank
Yeah,
you
and
for
helmets,
that.
yeah.
Wow.
Partner with the volunteers in policing, and they're able to get helmets out to every one of our students that participates in program. And
Mhm.
we work really closely with internal partners to make that work. But
Mhm.
yeah, we're biased, but we think it's pretty great.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's definitely pretty great.
And it's another month of safety, you know,
Mhm.
just for kids to just not be left alone.
No,
Summer
absolutely. And
months.
then the bike safety that goes along with it, right? I mean, kids are
Mhm.
on bikes going all over the
Yeah.
borough during the summer. And so adding
Yeah.
to that safety component is great. If there's people out there listening that work at an organization or individually might want to partner with ASP, how might they go about doing that?
Yeah, definitely reaching out to me first, Lindsy Weaver. There's a procurement process. There's like a protocol that we have just to make sure that we've got all of our boxes checked on our
Mhm.
end. But other than that, I would say our procurement department is really helpful in the
Mhm.
process. There's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, just an email to get it started. We've met with people kind of formally, informally. We work really closely with a lot of partners. Sometimes we have partnerships, like we have a really close partnership with Denakanaga.
Mhm.
And although it's not funded by 21st Century Programs, we can work with other funding sources to be able to get them into our buildings, or we use our federal funds to be able to bring in the Museum of the North or work with them, Fairbanks Soil and Water Conservation District. But also we work with like AmeriCorps, where we don't have a
Mhm.
financial exchange, but we're able to get STEM coaches into our programs and work really closely with that. So depending on what the support looks like, but the starting point would be reaching out to me, and I can kind of get that ball
Perfect.
rolling.
Is that similar for volunteers as well? Like if somebody wants to volunteer for a program?
We love
Yeah.
volunteers.
Yeah.
We love volunteers on staff meeting days.
Yes.
And
I
that
bet.
could work. I mean, that could work though if you worked at Weller, or you had a student at Weller and you
Mhm.
wanted to go and support after school program. There's a coordinator on site that you could touch base with there.
Yeah.
There's at every one of the schools, there's little info slip boxes. You could just put some information in, and our coordinators will reach out. But either the on-site coordinator or Jennifer and I are available whenever as well.
That's great. And, I keep looking over in this direction and there's this bright light bulb next to you. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and why the light bulb?
That's our mascot.
Uh-huh.
for the month of October is Lights On. It is a nationally recognized celebration for after-school programs, and it's to keep the lights on after school. So the mascot is always the light bulb for this month, so we thought it would be fun to bring it. We've seen other people bring mascots, so this is our mascot because we don't have other ones. So
well, I'm so glad you did. I mean, it's a fun
fancy.
addition
It's
and
fancy.
very fancy. And our school board just recently adopted or readopted a resolution for after school programs. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how long that's been going?
We're wearing the same outfits.
Yeah.
I think it's really just a moment to really call for the need of after school programs, regardless of the program funding. What we're looking at is saying, like, for every one kid that we're able to support in program, for Alaska, there are 3 students waiting to get in.
Wow.
And nationwide, for every 1 student we're able to support, there are 4 waiting to get in.
Whoa,
So I
yeah.
think when you look at those stats and you think, these students have a safe place to be, we're able to account for, upwards of 700 students in the out-of-school time space with our federal funding.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there's not a wait list for that. So really, Lights On After School is calling on the community, calling on volunteers, calling on whoever that might sound like or look like, to just say, like, hey, this is a need. We need to be able to support our students in that out-of-school time space and make, I don't know, I was gonna say, and be involved in, they always say, like, less risky behaviors. That's when our students are safe in after-school programs. Our adults get to work longer in the community because they know their students are safe. So what can we do in that out-of-school time space to support them best?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's great that we have it at 7 schools, but that's 7 of 28. And so we know that there's a lot of other needs within the district, and students and families would love to take advantage of that. You guys have an award-winning program. Can you talk about the different awards that both the program has earned and then you specifically?
Yeah.
I think you've earned at least 1 or 2
we do.
recent awards.
Thanks. Yeah. My predecessor had been here for 22 years, and I think that's kind of where this starts, is when you have consistency in the program and you have people who care in our community. Our superintendents have been really supportive. Our community has been really supportive. And when it comes down to numbers, which are what people like to say, over the last few years, when the rankings kind of changed, we have the National After School Association. They put out a lot of data about out-of-school time supports and what after-school program looks like. And we're ranked 4th in the nation, not Fairbanks specifically. Yeah. Very much an added benefit. No, we are a piece of that, though, right? We're the people that they're looking at the data for. And Alaska is ranked 4th in the nation when it comes to out-of-school time programs. So just thinking about that with all of the states and all the opportunities, that is huge accolades to the staff that come into these programs, to the people who've kept it consistent, to the people working on the backgrounds of the grant. I mean, even from our accountants to our food nutrition services, like all of that comes in to make these programs work. We're award winning because those work together. There's no way this could work if we didn't work with transportation every week, food nutrition every week, special education. I mean, it really is, our Title I teams, a huge impact of how we blend our resources together to be able to support them. But yes, as far as nationwide, there's lots of historical national after-school ambassadorships. One of the ones that when we were talking about earlier was after-school programs. We have the Alaska After School Network, and they do something called the Alaska After School Superhero Award, and that's one that Jennifer received in the past couple years. And then outside of that,
did you get a cape for that?
She did.
I did get a cape.
I thought you did. Yeah. I thought I saw a picture, but that's pretty awesome.
But it is that's people going out of their way to recommend, students recommending, and people just recognizing there's a lot of work that goes into the out-of-school time space, like any job, and beyond that, how does that make them exceptional? And outside of Jennifer's recognition, we've had many current and past coordinators that have also received that, and it comes with huge recognition, and it's on, to be that recognized in the state. I mean, Alaska's a huge state, so to be one of them sitting here is super awesome.
And in 2023, Lindsy Weaver was
I was wondering if she was going to get there. She didn't want to talk about herself, which is
the National Association, the National After School Association, the NAA is what we call it. They have conferences and things. It's another organization for out-of-school time programming. They have an award called the Next Gen Award, which is for leaders in out-of-school time programming under 30. And in 2023, Lindsay was the recipient of that award.
Yeah.
And well-deserved. So thank you to both of you for bringing your expertise here to Fairbanks and just investing so much into our youth. If we have people that are listening and maybe they have students in our schools or grandchildren in our schools and they're like, this is interesting. How can I learn more? How do they go about that?
Yeah, I think starting in October, there's a lot of family nights that go on. We blend with a lot of those Title I family nights. You can check out our after-school program tables there, meet the coordinator, and have conversations with them. That's a good starting point. And then
our website. on the school district website. Just searching after school program will bring that up. Our schools have individual websites. We're working on some access issues currently, trying to get that in order, but we have new coordinators and new teams this year. So looking at the school website and then contacting the front office at your school, because we have 7 sites, but a lot of schools are doing great things after school, whether it's volleyball, whether it's ski club, whatever it is, another safe place that kids can attend.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right. Any parting thoughts that you want people to remember from our time together today?
Oh, gosh. I just think I want to a huge shout out. Our community members are the reason that this community has supported it for nearly 3 decades. I just hope we can see that stay that way. I think in the out of school time space, the more opportunities that we have for youth, I think it can become a full circle. I want them to come back and work in our education system. And how do we help build those skills now? We want to build those literacy fluencies. We want to build those math skills. We want to give those safe spaces for those students to explore those interests and then hopefully stay in the community and come back and work here and
absolutely
be that story too. So then you can come and you can volunteer. You can come fence with us. Man, I didn't know about fencing. I've seen programming, but I missed the fencing. We'll get you over to Ann Ween. Ann Ween has a really awesome program over there. There we go, man. Yeah, you'll have to go through a safety class first, but we can make it happen. Okay, so we can do that. Mandatory trainings will knock that out.
People can also see some snippets of program on our social media as well. We do have 21st century CCLC programs, social media for Instagram and Facebook, and we put some little clips of different things that students work on, and just mostly our enrichment activities and just fun activities that they do, which is that hands-on learning. Kids think it's fun. We know they're learning. Yeah, perfect. Well, we'll try to share that as we share out the podcast, get people over to your social networks and see all the amazing things you're doing with our students. So thank you again for being here and having the conversation and sharing the amazing things you're doing with our students. And then a big thank you to our staff out in our schools making it happen too. What great opportunities we're providing for our students, and just a huge thank you. Thank you for having us. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, this is another edition of the Alaska EdVenture podcast with Dr. Luke Meinert. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.